Hey y'all, what's going on? It's your man Sabir. What's happening? What's tell you what's dropping? Well, you know I got a new album. It's about seven. Uh, three of them are remixing, and then the other four are brand new. I'm thinking about adding. I got to see how after I get finished mastering how that actually comes out. You're about to learn who Sigmund Freud is. Sigmund Freud is most known for his analysis, his psychosexual analysis of the male's relationship with the mother, specifically in the area of being sexually attracted to his mother. Yeah. And the first thing people do when they hear what he wants to have sex, the son wants to have sex with his mother, you go into your own pornographic repertoire of teachings and everything, and you begin to ask yourself, well, that's just disgusting. Well, we know we have a lot of that that goes on. It's called incest, but from Freud's perspective of psychosocial development for the human being, it's not. You have to understand that the human being does not know the difference between mother and father until the human being is taught such. So, yes, there is a bond that exists in the child. The child has some sense of that other human being, of having some level of closeness with it. But all mothers don't have the presence of what's called oxytocin, which is actually what they refer to as the bonding chemical within the parent. Growing, maturing. A lot of people stay in the certain conditions simply because they don't seek to grow. They seek things outside of themselves to make themselves feel better about themselves and concern themselves with what's actually happening on the inside. The real struggle, the struggle between man's desire, seldom, if at all, nurtured. It just doesn't happen that way. You don't find yourself down on your knees until you're down on your luck, until things seem to be a mess in your life, until you see that your life is just kind of going in the wrong direction. When you're in, I swear, huh? I swear I stopped driving fast. I swear I stopped beating on my wife. I swear I stopped cussing out my kids. I swear, God, just get me out of this one. Right? Then no sooner than you get out, right back to the same thing. Why is that? You already had evidence if you committed those acts. You knew that you eventually wound up dead, in prison, or institutionalized in some capacity for the rest of your damn life, but you still continue to act behavior in spite of the consequences. This is not going to go well for me. And you still do it. You still do it anyway. Why? You find yourself in the same types of relationships over and over and over again. And you keep asking yourself, why? But why are you asking you that and expecting the answer that's going to make any sense when you've taken no time to meditate? You've taken no time to sit down and really pray, because prayer is only communicating your concerns, your wants and needs to God. Meditation is listening for the answer, paying attention, being aware of what's happening around you. That's how life is. So why do so many people struggle? Why do so many people struggle in relationships day in and day out? Right? There's different parts of self. There's the known self, right? Those are things that you know about you. Those are the things that you carry every day. You interact with the world around you through these things that you know about yourself. These are all the things you know about yourself, right? Or things you think you know about yourself. But these are all the things that you have convinced you about who you are, who you think you are, who you're trying to be. But everything that you're using as a gauge is something that in some way, shape, or form have culturized you to believe that you are. Yeah, you've been culturized, right? It's a social structuring that goes on in life that people manipulate us into believing certain things about ourselves. We're better than, we're less than, we're more, we look better than, we're more attractive than, physically we're more appealing. People convince you who you are, and you make who you are what they want you to be. And you don't even look at that. Everything that happens is intentional. People are forming and shaping your opinions, your views about things. They want you to be who they want you to be. So there's the known self. That's the part of self that has been developed through trauma, trials and tribulations, life's experiences, all those great, wonderful things. That's what happens in that aspect. Then there's the unknown self, right? The conscious, the subconscious, the unconscious of self, right? So you're aware of these things about yourself. But then there's the things that exist within you that live and act without your permission. They're acting on what exists within you, but you're giving it permission to in many ways because you're not addressing it. So when you don't address the inside of you, the subconscious of you, when you don't address that, you are in fact giving it permission to wreak havoc in your life. And that's, again, where your troubles come in, because you don't understand why you feel and think the way you do. But it's all part of that which has been suppressed. So when you have trauma in your life, you have things that happen in your life, different traumas that happen in your life. You think that they're suppressed, that they don't exist anymore, but they're presenting themselves all the time in all of your interactions. They're presenting themselves. And a lot of times you'll hear people say, oh, well, I didn't realize that I do that. But you knew you did it. You just couldn't understand why. And you still can't understand why. But it really doesn't even make any, it doesn't matter why. Because you're going to blame something to somebody other than yourself anyway. but that which is suppressed leaks out. See, trauma is like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. You have it covered to some degree, but the bullet is still lodged somewhere within the body. So you feel the aches and pains from that. The healing is not taking place because you're not applying anything than a Band-Aid. Band-Aid doesn't have the medication that needs to go inside of you. Make sure the blood is coagulating right. Make sure there's no infections and all those things going into it. So it's still oozing of pus, blood. The blood is becoming covered, saturated with bacteria from your everyday living that apply themselves to that Band-Aid. And before you know it, you're in a situation where you are suffering. See, pain is inevitable. Suffering is an option. And that's the kind of stuff that you got to start looking at. Right? Why do you continue to suffer? Why do you continue to envelope your things that you say you want, that you desire to have, that are supposed to bring joy and happiness to your life, but you're still not happy? What is it really going to take for you to be happy? Think about it for a minute. You went and got the chocolate ice cream. You wanted chocolate ice cream. All day you kept, I got to give me some chocolate ice cream. Got to give me some chocolate ice cream. But it can't be just any chocolate ice cream. If you're anything like me, I love Friendly's forbidden chocolate. Oh man, it just has a malty-like flavor, but it also has the creaminess to it too. And that's what, oh man, it should be forbidden, right? Nothing should taste that damn good. But after I eat a whole half a gallon by myself in one sitting while I'm watching TV, right, I'm full. Right? I'm full. I'm stuffed. Almost to the point of being uncomfortable because I'm so stuffed. Because now all that content is selling into my stomach and yada, yada, yada. But damn, it was good for the moment. It was so good. I feel so satisfied. But did it make a difference in my life? See, there's long-term satisfaction and then there's short-term satisfaction. The short-term satisfaction is something that you get right now that fix the urge right now. Right now. Take that monkey off your back. Go and get that ice cream. Right? That's short-term. Right? And think about how many other things you do right now that are short-term but actually have long-term effects. Just think about it for a minute. How many things can you do right now? Short term, feel good, stop the hurt right now. The intent was to make the pain go away right now. 15, 20 years from now, you still are feeling it. That's the suffering part. So you went from one point of just sheer ecstasy to a point of dissatisfaction, disdain, discomfort, dislike. But you've been doing it for a while. You've been doing it for a while. It's not going anywhere now. It's part of you. It's part of who you are. Well, who you've convinced yourself that you are. It is a part of who you are, but it's the part that you don't know about you. The unknown self. You don't know that because you never asked yourself that question, because every time something happens, there's always something outside of you that you look towards for resolve. Whether it be a person, a place, a thing, it doesn't matter. You never go running inside for a solution, because the solution is on the inside, but so is the pain, so is the suffering. So you're trying to escape it. Yeah, you're trying to escape it. And you can't. You can't escape you. There's nowhere around it. People want to move to other countries, want to move to other states. I'm just sick of living here, you know. It wasn't that I was sick of living in Philly. I planned to move to Florida because that's where I want to retire. Having been out of Philly, right, for what, since 2015, having been out of Philly and returning back to Philly, I miss Philly, but not that damn much that I would want to live back there again. There's no growth and benefit and development that I could find. I was at a salary cap in human services. Wasn't gonna never go beyond the amount that I was making. Right? The conditions were never going to be any different. The infrastructure of that city is never going to change. It'll be another Atlantic City about another 4 or 5 years. Yeah, it'll be in full effect in about 5 years. Philadelphia will be just like Atlantic City. It'll be you're going to have downtown is going to change. They've been drudging the Delaware years ago to build up the landing down there. Listen, it's already been prepared. Casinos are going to thrive down there. Yeah, pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to the shift that's about to happen. Right? But I'm just saying all this to say that I made this change to come to live in Florida because this is where I plan to go. This is where I wanted to be. I wanted to be in the Sunshine State. I wanted to be as close to a tropical paradise as I possibly could without living in one. Right? That's what I desired to do. So that's a long term. So that was part of my long term plan for 5 years. I said, 5 years, I'm going to give myself to be in Florida. I did it in 3. Preparation was important. Growth, personal development was important. I'm coming into a whole different culture, right? A whole different environment. But the systems are all the same. The systems are all the same. But once you realize it's not about the systems, other than the human system, the system of humanity, once you get to understand those kind of things, everything else just doesn't matter. Who's in office doesn't matter. The administration is going to change every 4 to 8 years. It's going to do that anyway. What does that do as far as me living? Because there's new laws, it's going to always be new laws. Because there's change in the handling of money, it's going to always be changing. We went from having black and white 19-inch TVs, right? I got a 75-inch TV. Right? We went from watching Maxwell Smart on Get Smart, right? Taking off his shoe, taking off the heel cover and talking it. What do we have today? Huh? You can sit still and just call out, Lexi, Susan, call my mother. You don't have to do anything anymore. We're so advanced that anything for somebody who has a physical disability can thrive just like anybody else. That's the kind of technology we have. Right? Did you ever think that would happen? So that wasn't a long-term goal. I'm going to get me a phone just like Maxwell Smart. No, that wasn't it. But now that it's here, you can't get away from it. But what has changed inside of you? You've gotten the Bentley. You've gotten the $400,000 house that sits on a whole acre of land. You got that, but yet you are still not happy. Yeah, you're still not happy. So we're going to talk about Sigmund Freud's 10 insights on success and motivation. Now, what you want to understand, and then we're going to just jump on this thing. We're not going to get through all 10. I'm going to tell you that right now. I done perused this list. We can be stuck on one for the show time. But success and motivation. It's important to understand what's driving you to do the things that you're doing. What's driving you to resist the desire to do it. How do you see yourself? What do you think about yourself that you can't do that? And you take another direction, one that's not as fulfilling, because you've allowed a short term plan to set a long term foundation, and you're stuck. Yeah, you're stuck. Yeah, it happens in a lot of relationships, right? Get together, hanging out, we just chilling. Next, you know, there's a child involved, and you didn't want that, but you didn't do anything to prevent it. Nobody used protection. Nobody really liked the other. We just had something in common. We just had fun together. Now this fun has turned into a nightmare, and then somebody has to tell y'all how to talk to each other. Somebody has to tell y'all what are good days for one or the other to have the children. Somebody's got to tell you, well, you don't make enough damn money. But listen, we have some benefits for you you don't need him now. Yeah, we can take care of all of that. But you're going to have to let this go. Yeah. Short term, it sounds real good, huh? Well, him and I ain't getting along anyway. Y'all going to give me some money to do this, to do that. Yep, but he got to go. I ain't got no problem with that because he got to go. Next thing you know, it's gone for good. Yeah. You and him happy now. The child is toe up from the flow up. Trauma ridden. Can't put two words together. Simply because of a short-term decision. So this comes from New Trader U, empowering your financial journey. Now you say, well, see, Bill, well, what does my financial journey have to do with what all that you just got finished talking about? Because until you start addressing these things within yourself and see what's really happening in your life, you won't be successful. Well, not as successful as you can be. Because some of us have very short-sightedness about ourselves. We can't see beyond a certain point, and then we say somebody else did this to us. So, that's why I'm here. Or, well, if I would have had DEI, or if I would have had this, and if I would have had that, I would have been able to. But the world is doing me wrong, because these people are out for us. It's thinking like that keeps you from being able to move forward, to being able to be success, because you're not taking ownership for why you're not moving forward, because you're not understanding what attaining success looks like, whatever that success may be. Everybody's not academically inclined. Everybody doesn't have that desire. When we used to think that academics was a long-term benefit, we're now seeing where it's actually become a liability. Yeah. We get stuck with that throughout entire damn career. We incur hundreds of thousands of dollars in education. We got to pay all that damn money back. But damn, we don't even make enough money to do that. Yeah. I think as a clinician, we should be at the top of the food chain, right? A doctor performs a bad surgery, you got to come see us for counseling, for cognitive behavior treatment. Yeah. You got to come see us because we got to help you heal from the trauma that they just imposed upon you, but yet they make all the money. Isn't it funny how the ones who make the most money are the ones who inflict the most pain upon its people? Law enforcement, they don't make no damn money, but they're the ones who run towards the gunfire while we ducking and covering. Teachers, you ever been in the elementary school? Ever? You go to an elementary school, you hear behaviors that you hear in high schools. And we ain't going to talk about college. So everything that's supposed to be better, for us to be better than, to be better off, and to be in a better place, seem to cause us more pain and suffering. That's why trade is so important. But no matter what it is, until you change your condition, until you change how you think, until you come to understand and see the unknown self, you're going to be in the same circumstance for the rest of your life. Ain't going to be no difference. So, yes, this is from a financial management website. Banking 101. Right? Okay. Sigmund Freud's 10 insights on success and motivation. Let's go. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, believed that unconscious motivations are the primary drivers of human behavior. These hidden desires and conflicts often originate from our earliest experiences and shape our actions and decisions, even if we are unaware of their influence. Paying attention? So you have to look back before you can look forward. You have to look in before you go out. I want you to come to, let me say that one more time for those in the front who maybe missed it, right? You have to look back before you go forward. You have to look in before you go out. Yeah. It's like driving. You get to the intersection, you look left, you look right, you look left again. You look right, you look left, you look right again. You understand? You got to look both ways before you proceed. So that means you need to understand what's over there and what's over here. And you need to double check over there one more time because something could have showed up. That was your last look. This is your last look over here. You got to come to understand those things. Hey, Sophia, what's happening? Who is Amber, August? What's going on, y'all? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate the love, man. So here we are. Understanding, back to the article, understanding the unconscious mind's influential role allows us to gain valuable insights into what propels us towards success and achievement. Recognizing that there may be more profound, unspoken reasons behind our goals and aspirations allows us to approach personal growth with greater self-awareness and understanding. Yeah, this is important. I'm great at what I do. I'm great at what I do. I don't need anybody to tell me that. If I'm not telling myself that and people are telling me otherwise, what side of the fence that you think, or do you think I'm going to be more apt to spend my time on? Yeah. The alone side. Because you get the hell away from those people. If people are not uplifting to you, people are not aiding you in trying to move towards your goal of betterment, get the hell away from them. They're going to ruin your life. Yeah, that's their intent. That's all they know. So number one on this list, number one on the list of insights on success and motivation. So number one, and we just got finished talking about this, the pleasure principle versus the reality principle. Okay. Freud proposed that two opposing forces govern the human psyche: the pleasure principle and the reality principle. The pleasure principle drives us to seek immediate gratification of our desires. Say this again. The pleasure principle drives us to seek immediate gratification of our desires. So all of us are in this car, right? And we're all going in the same direction that the driver is taking us. From a physical eye perspective, that means one person is in the driver's seat. We're all in the car with the driver. Wherever the driver is taking us, whether it's where we asked to go or whether that driver so desired to take us, there is someone in that driver's seat. You can always tell the driver, yo, dude, pull over. I'm out, right? They don't want to stop. You can always jump out the window, but you can always get out of that damn vehicle. Understand? A lot of times you stay because if I jump out, I'm liable to fall over the cliff. I'm liable to fall into the ocean and drown to death. I'm liable to hit the road and somebody come along behind this driver and run my butt over, so I'll stay. Similar to that, which are decision making, decision making skills that people use and think that they are actually beneficial skills, but they're not beneficial. Beneficial to what? I have my glasses on, y'all, so that's why I'm squinting. Let me put my glasses on. I feel myself squinting. See, you know what I'm saying? That's what happened. See, I got out of that vehicle, man. So when you look at the pleasure, the immediate gratification, which it talks about here, one of the first things that you should come away from it with understanding is that the human being wants to feel good all the time. That's the first thing you should always think. Why? Think about how many things that you can get right now. You can get a full course meal right now. Put it in the microwave. It's done within 3 minutes. A full course meal. Yeah. They have it now where you can get like a 6-course meal in 3 minutes. You don't have to harass your wife or your husband to hurry up and make it. Just pop it in the microwave. You don't have to go stand in line in the store. You can just go ahead and order it on your phone and go pick it up. You can just order it on your phone. The same person that dropped you off, this morning to the airport is the same person that's now picking you up from the airport, but they're bringing you lunch too. Yeah, they're bringing you lunch too. Yeah. You don't have to get out your car. It's cold out there. I ain't got to get out my car and go walk inside the restaurant. I go through the drive-through. Now, you take all of these things that we find that have miraculously served our immediate and wants and needs, but the principle of those things exist in how we live our lives as well. I don't want to do no work in a relationship. I want somebody that comes already prepared, right? I want you to already know how to read my mind. I want you to know that. I want you to know that I don't do any damn cooking. So you need to get used to the microwave if you're going to be with me. I'm not going to be anything different than this. Just the way I'm going to be. Me. Got a lot of opera singers around these days. Right? So when you start looking at these kind of things, you should begin to kind of see the pattern here of everything that you're doing is always about you feeling good. You having immediate gratification. You got a drive-through. You don't have to get out the car and experience the cold, experience the heat. You can sit in the comforts of your vehicle. But you sit there and you still complain they ain't moving fast enough. Fast enough has a lot of splinter families. Yeah. That's what fast enough has gotten us. Children being raised by one parent. Parents don't even like each other. Hell, they don't even know each other. Right? Because you want it now. The immediate gratification. I don't want to do any work for us to grow. You should be mature enough. You should be responsible enough. You should be accountable enough when you enter into this relationship with me. If you're not, why are you even getting into a relationship? That doesn't make sense, right? It, you have to begin to see these things and how these things actually play out in your life. These are things you have to look at, but you don't. How we are nurtured. I mean, so Freud, oh, we're still on one. Duh. The pleasure principle drives us to seek immediate gratification of our desires. In contrast, the reality principle compels us to balance these urges with the constraints and demands of the real world. Right? So that's saying that if you keep going through life just seeking immediate gratification, the likelihood of you having a balanced life, the likelihood of you being patient, the likelihood of you being tolerant, the likelihood of you having consistency with rational thinking kind of gets reduced. Because when you are living that way, that means that you are always putting yourself in harm's way in some capacity because you want what you want and you want it now. Doesn't happen that way. Just because money grows from a tree doesn't mean it grows on the tree. Yeah, kind of. But anyway, so successful individuals often demonstrate a keen ability to navigate between these two principles. They can delay short-term gratification in pursuit of long-term objectives while remaining grounded in their uh, circumstances, practical realities. Let me read it for you again. They can delay short-term gratification, right, in pursuit of long-term objectives while remaining grounded in their circumstances, practical realities. Let me give you an example. So, it was a time that it was almost a taboo not to enter into a relationship and abstain from, let me reword that. There was a time when people put long-term objectives before sex with one another. We used to be happy with the kiss, the hug, the grind. We were so happy with that, holding hands. It was a point of happiness, right? That we were good with that. We had somebody to talk to. We had a friend. We had a homie, right? We had a vision. Me and him, me and her, we gonna get married. We're gonna get our own house. We're gonna raise our kids, this, that, and the other. But there was a significance to be able to achieve this that was put before the act itself of having sex. Education was important. Wasn't as high as it is now, but education or trade was important. Going into the military was important. We had an understanding there and a care for our country, right? I'm going to fight in the war, right? I'm going to serve my country. Yeah, I'm going to serve my country. We saw the country as ours, right? Then the shift began to happen. And so when you start understanding psyche of the human being, you have to understand how the system was actually created to be as effective as it is, even though you think it's ineffective. Because it's minds like Sigmund Freud and others who came along and say, well, if you do this, that'll happen. If you don't do this, this will be the turnout. And they took these theories and they put them all together. That's why the system does what it does. Because people don't spend time trying to learn about themselves. People's focus is on short term satisfactions, gratifications, right? Without a long term objective attached to it. Back to the article. They can delay short term gratification in pursuit of long term objectives while remaining grounded in their circumstances, practical realities. So, listen, I'm not going to have sex until I'm finished school. I'm not having sex until I finish my 2, 3 year obligation in the military. And I may decide to re up, right? Because the long term objective is more purposeful and beneficial than immediate gratification of my personal desires. Now everything is flipped. I want it now. Let me hit it now because I need to hit it now. I need to feel. I need to know what it feels like. And then you're stuck because it feels as good as you thought it did. And now you're trapped. Now that's your only focus. That I think we called it back in the day smelling yourself. 13, 14, 15 years old. You were set. You were good with the little boyfriend. You were good with the little girlfriend. You had somebody to walk and talk to when going to school and those nights while you were studying for your exams or whatever. Then all that changed because you were willing to give it to me now. It was the point of when we didn't care about when we got it. Then somebody started showing up and giving it to us. And that became the focal point. So if he's going to give it to me now, she going to give it to me now, that's the one I'm going to gravitate towards. But that's not the one you want to marry. But because you go for that short-term gratification and you start messing with little Mary Sue, who, you know, she's like that. But you don't know why she's like that. How did she get that way? It didn't matter. I'm going to take advantage of it because she's going to give me some too. And the same thing for boys. Oh, he's experienced. But how did he get experienced? So now you find yourself in short-term gratification, but your long-term objective has become tainted, unbeknownst to you. Because unbeknownst to you, the part of you that is hidden, the unknown part of you, is wreaking havoc in your life and making decisions for you. And you're not being conscious of that which is happening. Am I going too far in? I mean, because I really want you to sit down and really dissect what it is that I'm saying. So when you dissect what it is that I'm saying and get an immediate understanding, it'll help you develop long-term objectives to see that, well, wait a minute, if I sit there and watch this now, I'm not really getting it. So I need to stop watching this now because it's getting on my nerves. But if I sit and watch it and just listen to some of it as I'm sitting here preoccupied with something else, because this is not really holding my interest because I'm, adult learning, especially, we got to see it, touch it, feel it, and all those other things with it. But I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to listen to it again later because I know I had to miss something. But you don't pick it up later. And now it's next Saturday and I'm doing another show and you're looking at that show and you're asking yourself, wait a minute, if I'm looking at that show now, what did I miss in the last episode? So you keep setting yourself back because you keep putting off today for tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes because when tomorrow gets here, what is it? It's today. You can't talk about yesterday because it doesn't even matter. The day is over. You can't backtrack, erase it, no matter how many time jumping movies you watch. It ain't going to happen that way. So, striking the balance is key, right? So going back to the value of I'm not having sex until I complete these tasks. When you look culturally as to, what groups of people delay having children until a certain age. And then when they start having children at a certain age, they have already had the long-term objective established with the foundation of balance. That no, I'm going to be using protection until I am finished my academic endeavors. I'm going to be using protection until I'm 25, until I'm married. Then when I get married, I'm going to have my 3 children. But I'm going to have a husband when I have my 3 children. I didn't say I was going to keep my husband. I was going to keep my wife, but I stayed with the long-term objective. I found balance, whereas I'm not going to immediately satisfy that beast within me and start having sex early on because I have this gnawing feeling down in my groin. I got to get it out of me, or I got to get it in me, whatever side that you're going to be on. You understand what I'm saying here? You can't allow people to direct you and push you and force you into compromising these things about yourself and just go ahead and like, listen, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pursue what I need to pursue because it's a tough thing trying to do it at 30, 40, 50 years old. And now you already found yourself with half your life wasted because you didn't put balance in none of this. Because you felt pressed that, well, if I don't give him some, somebody else is going to give him some, and then I'm never going to have him. So I'm going to give him some. Now at 35 and 40, my body is so beat up. I've been so destroyed by the spiritless. And now my spirit is destroyed because, you know, when you have sex, you are connecting spirits. And then when you have spiritless people entering you, those spirits remain inside of you. The residue of that spiritless person resides within you. Whether it's a spiritless person that you've gone inside or whether you've been the dipper, it doesn't matter. Both partners are involved in a spiritual entanglement, we'll call it. Right? And now you're destroyed spiritually. So now that which you didn't know about yourself, right, is layered with stuff that you do know. So the trauma that is already within your unconscious, your subconscious, because you're protected, the human being protects itself and it puts things in different places so you don't get overwhelmed and overload and find yourself going overboard a bridge, standing on a stool, putting a gun up to your mouth, right? But it still exists because it's the unknown self. You don't know where it went, but you know it happened, but it just don't phase you like it used to. Then eventually it shows up. Childhood. So let's look at number 2. The role of early childhood experiences. Freud emphasized that our earliest experiences profoundly shaped our adult personalities and behaviors. How we are nurtured, the challenges we face, and the conflicts we encounter during childhood lay the foundation for our future selves. You got to understand this part, right? So, how many decisions do we make as children that are against the decision, the likeness of our parents, right? My mother didn't want me hanging around certain people. I hung around those people. I acted in a particular manner. I gravitated toward these people for a reason. Some of these people were doing the right thing. Some of these people were doing the wrong thing. But that interpretation of right from wrong came from the household. Now, if you only get in one person's perspective, that's one parent perspective on right or wrong, and you're not, well, you don't have the involvement of the other parts, you know, the other 23 chromosomes that exist within you that need to be nurtured, See, the mother can only nurture the 23 chromosomes that came from her, right? Anything else she gives you is based on the kind of man that she would want you to be. Or if you're a girl, she can only give you the information based on the kind of man you should be looking for. I want you to understand this. So when you start looking at the dysfunction, when you start looking at identifying a particular family as being normal, what is that? What is that? Follow me here. What is that? This is when the foundation of your continued existence begins to form as a child. Yeah. So that's why, we have this clinical tool called the ACE questionnaire, ACE, the ACE questionnaire, adverse childhood experiences, right? So it was a time when childhood was not even included in counseling. It was always a focus on what's presenting right now to reduce the risk, to reduce the pain, to reduce the suffering, right? Even though we knew about rubber banding, which is a clinical term where people, regress back to a period of childhood in the moment of a triggering that actually happened for them. So we're constantly being triggered by different events. And at some point in time, we stop being triggered because we lose interest in resolve of it, and we just find it tucked away. And it's usually tucked away in the unknown self part because we know it happened. We just don't know how it affected us. Now we're beginning to see the evidence, the residue of what happened. Let me give you an example. You have families, recording artists, a whole family. We got the Jacksons, the Silvers, we got the Kardashians. You got families. The whole family is involved in the industry. They're functioning as one. There was a foundation established for them. The what's the name? The Venus and the Williams sisters. You start looking at the families and you ask yourself, how is it the entire family? When you look at what's the brother's name in Living Color, the whole family of the brothers and the sister, you see all of them. That's a nurturing that took place. There was a foundation established that they would all embark upon this journey together. Whether there was an interest or not, a foundation was laid, right? A foundation was laid. When you lay a foundation, balance. There's a balance there. Once you lay that foundation, you continue that life just that way. Once I decided that Daddy's Right Here was going to be a brand, I had to also take a look at me, how I conduct myself, how I think. Do I just be the average Joe and just become a counselor? No, I want to learn policy and procedure. I want to learn systems. So I chose Lincoln University, right? For the Masters in Human Services program. Why? Because the approach was from a systems perspective, understanding the super systems, understanding the subsystems, understanding every aspect of system, everything that I encountered throughout my 30 plus years career in human and social services has been and continues to be, because I continue to learn and I continue to become wiser as to what humanity really is. not from a political standpoint, not from a religious standpoint per se, but from an understanding of what humanity means. See, a lot of this stuff that we get, pushed through our systems, we can render worthless, useless, if we understand our own humanity. If we understand that first and foremost, nothing else is going to matter. I don't care who's in office, at the federal level, at the national level, at the local level. I cared not two shits about any of that. Because at the end of the day, that system is going to do what it does. But what preparation have you made to be able to counter anything within the system that may interrupt your life in any capacity? That's what you have to look at. You have to look at the core of where that thinking came from. Is it valuable in any capacity? Just because my mom said it doesn't mean that it's valuable. That's what my mom said. I need to gather evidence. Part of becoming successful is gathering evidence along the way as to why I want to do this. And once you establish the why I want to do this, you have to understand the good and the bad, the pros and the cons with doing this. Long-term objective. Oh, I want to work in the corporate office. Okay. Why? What happens at the corporate level that you're prepared for right now if the call came? You can get in the corporate office. Hell, you can get a Bentley. You can get a Rolls. All you got to do is stack some money, go ahead to the oh, snap. Credit. So there's a lot of things that you have to think about. So unresolved issues from our formative years can manifest in our adult relationships. Which of these objects are orange and round? What the heck? Come on, y'all. I can't see this kind of stuff. TikTok, what's up with all of that? Orange and round. Hell, I don't know. It's something round there. I don't know. Listen. All right, listen, we don't have time for this. See, TikTok got to do all this crazy stuff. But anywho, which of these objects associated with heads? This. All right, we're not doing so. TikTok, listen, we about to cut down the show in 5 minutes because of this so crazy simple stuff that they do. I don't know what's happening with TikTok's mind, And just to wrap up the show, right? We're going to finish up this list next week. But there's things that are posted by people that have things that violate community guidelines. Somebody put on about a couple of weeks ago, somebody put something online. I forget which platform I was on. And they just literally in their comments said something to me. They made a comment about people who were thinking in a capacity other than they were. But their response, their remark was laden with hate. I responded back, it's people who think like you, hateful people who think like you that are the problem. I think it was on Facebook or whatever. It doesn't matter. One of these, because they all do the same thing. They sent me a notification, told me that my remark was against community guidelines. When you see the things that actually do violate community guidelines and still come through, and then you turn around and put something on there that I just said hate-filled people like you are the problem. This person had a hateful response, but mine's violated community guidelines. I just watched this post on one of these things this morning, singing a song about something nigger, right? And that's run, nigga, run. And it was hate filled. Hell, it's still posted. It's still there. That don't violate community guidelines? I'm confused. But I'm really not. At the end of the day, everything you see in your feed, you should always be fact checking it. I tell you the name of the article that I speak from. I speak from a perspective as a professional, a certified addictions professional, a person who has worked in the field, worked and studied in the field of human and social services, behavior modification, cognitive behavior expert. I've been working in the field for 30 plus years. And I also give you my personal experience. When you look at this stuff that's in the feed, everybody's trying to have something to go viral, laden with lies, laden with hate. But it always seems to meet community guidelines. False information. Most of it is false information. Nothing gets checked anymore. It's picking and choosing whose voice you want to squelch. That's what it comes down to. Right? That's what it comes down to. That's why I always tell you the article, that's the source of the information. If you want to know more about it, you get yourself a damn dictionary or you Google the word. You want to know what psychoanalytic is? Look it up. You want to know what cognitive behavior treatment is? Look it up. You want to know how that does childhood have an effect on your adulthood? Look it up. Look it up. By confronting and working through these deeply rooted influence, back to the article, we can break free from limiting patterns and cultivate more positive, productive ways of interacting with the world around us. I'm trying, y'all, but they like it's just ridiculous. They keep giving me here now it's back up. Like I don't have time for this TikTok. Really. Y'all ban that. Gotta press this shape and press that shape. Get rid of the people who are doing wrong and stop hindering those of us who are doing the right thing on this platform. That's what y'all need to figure out. Right? So, yeah. I'm just simply saying that you got to start looking at you. You got to start looking at you. You got to start looking at what kind of childhood did you have? What happened in your childhood? How is that presenting itself in your adulthood? Stop telling yourself because I'm an adult now that I'm not going to act like a child. You are. We all have those levels of maturity that we sometimes seem to skip. Sometimes we're thrust into periods of living by a parent who has to do it on their own. Sometimes we think we have to do it on our own. Sometimes we jump out of a role that we shouldn't be and go into another one where we think we should be because we want to help make a difference. We have to look at all these decisions we made. Who made that decision for you? Who told you you were the man of the house at 12? Who told you that? Who told the person that? Who conditioned them to believe that because there was no man in the house, right, that you are now the man in the house when the man who should be in the house is probably one who told the boy he is now man of the house because he couldn't be the man in the house. He was actually the boy in the house. Now he has given his role to the boy because he can't be a man. So now he's out in the street being a boy, running rampant, squirting seed everywhere, creating more, and at no point in time stopping himself. But the boy, who's now the man in the house, has to be the one to tell the man to stop being a boy, learn how to be a man in the house because we need help here. Because I just want to go back to being a boy. And now that he's actually a man predicated on a number by the system, he thinks he's a man, but he wants to be a boy. Now he's 30, 40, 50 years old, still being that 12-year-old boy that you told he was a man. And now he doesn't know what a man is because he's always been a boy. conditioned by a man boy, a man who never shook off the boy. Now this boy is trying to shake off the man that he was told that he was at 12. At 40, he still wants to shake off the man because he wants to be a boy. Yeah. I'll see y'all next week. And we can talk some more on this subject matter because we need to finish this up, man. It's crazy. It's crazy, right? But we endure it every single day, man. Every day of our lives, this is something that we have to be subjected to. You know, our ill condition. You know, and we don't want to accept that. We want to look at other people and we want to blame other people. And no doubt in my mind that as an adult, I have to be accountable for what I failed to do. I have to be accountable for those things that I knew better to do or not to do. Yes, you respect your parents, but as you continue to grow and develop, by the time you are in a position to leave out of there, you should have established balance and not get locked into that short-term desire, which is going to affect your long-term objective. See, when people blame their parents for this and they blame their parents for that, you knew along the way that it was wrong. You were responsible for conditioning yourself. When you had the ability to read, you may not have fully comprehended because it's reading and comprehending. It's reading, comprehending, and then applying. So as you were reading, as you were comprehending, by the time you got to that magical age where they said that you were a man or that you were a woman, that now you can go out there and you can fly on your own, you already had the information because you read and because you comprehended, right? So you read and you comprehended. Now I am actually an adult who has a foundation, so now I can go apply. But if you just stayed with because mom told me that or because dad told me that, and then I wanted to go ahead and fly from the nest, well, I flew the coop. That's all I did because I don't know nothing. And it's okay to say I don't know nothing. But don't stay in that position of not knowing because you have a choice. And if you're allowing social media to guide and direct you, you are sadly going to get all the wrong information. Yeah. Because even that which is actually right for you, like this show has been on for years, off and on throughout the years. I've done this show. There's probably nearly 400 videos on my Cerebellum Educational Station on YouTube, right? But I guarantee you, if I had some ass shakers on the show, if I was saying nigga constantly throughout the show, if I was constantly raising awareness, right? Based on somebody else's narrative that just simply seeks to divide us. If I had that kind of platform, everybody be on here. Everybody be on here. But nobody, is really interested in the truth until hell has wreaked havoc within them. Where that closet falls open inside of your mind and all your skeletons begin to fall out. Only then do you seek change. Life is about ongoing change. That's what life is about. It's all a matter of conditioning yourself to be prepared to receive and to be able to maintain, to sustain that long-term objective. You're not happy. You can't be happy. You don't even see enough of yourself. You can't fit in that mirror. No, not to hold you. But other people are telling you what they see. And sometimes when you get upset when they tell you, it's because that's part of self that you didn't want others to know. They know. They saw it. They told you about it. It's no longer the hidden self. But that means that there's another window that actually got larger because somebody found out something about you. The more you disclose about yourself to other people, the smaller the unknown self window gets. The smaller that stuff that you don't know. That window changes and you begin to learn more things about yourself. So windows begin to change. The idea is for you to have that window as big as it possibly can be for what I do know about myself and what I have taken from others who know me, right? I've allowed other people to tell me about what it is that they see. And that enlarges what I know. It decreases the size of the unknown to self and others window because there's things that others don't know about you that you don't know about yourself either. Unknown to self and others. Every time you disclose just a little more of you to somebody else, window shift. There. Johari's window. Johari apostrophe S. Johari's window. Let's what was his name? John and Harry, something like that. But it's a window. It tells you about yourself. There's a reason why things are hidden. Self-protection. But it shows up. It rears its ugly head every now and then. Right? Listen, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. I will see y'all next Saturday for another episode of Daddy's Right Here Live. But I'm going to also see you later on this evening. I'm getting ready to switch up, going to the studio, working on this album lineup. Make sure y'all check that out. Make sure you also check out our online store. Yeah, aleemforyou.net. aleemforyou.net. Aleem for You, LLC.etsy.com. Yeah. Aleem for You on Redbubble. Right? Yeah, go to Redbubble. The address escapes me. But all you have to do is go to aleemforyou.net and click on where you want to shop. We have an online boutique, which is Contrato. We have the Etsy. Click on that if you want to go to that. Just check out all the stores. Click on one of the images on the site. It's a beautifully designed website. When I tell you that you will go to that website, you can spend a day there. Believe what I tell you. Each one of the designs that we have, for instance, on the Redbubble store, there are about 72 pieces of merchandise off of one design. Now, imagine we probably have about 15 different pieces of art. So 15 times 72. That's how much merchandise you'll find on our Redbubble site. On our Etsy site, a ton of stuff there as well. Bunch of designs. Our Contrato store actually just put out a couple of new designs. Our High Maintenance 2. So there's High Maintenance, which is the one with the sisters on there, covered with the big marijuana leaves. High Maintenance 2, the sister actually got a joint in her mouth. The joint is symbolic of a period of time as well. Remember that, because they had a whole lot of people, twisted them up in no paper. Yeah. But anyway, so make sure you check that merchandise out. So Contrato is the boutique. When I say boutique, for those who know, these are higher priced items, well worth the price. Quality handbags. When I say, man, these handbags is tight. Umbrellas, raincoats, slippers, shoes. Listen, think right now it's 15% discount on everything on the Contrato website. Now, you say, well, it's too late. Well, if you sit down shopping, you late. Don't try to tell us that we're late for telling you now, right? I've been telling you about our site, but if you just shopping now, you would make out better going to our boutique, to our Contrato website, and getting somebody a bag and getting 15% off. The rainy season is about to come up. Check out our raincoats. Check out our umbrellas, right? 15% off. I think on everything on that site is 15% off. It's a Mother's Day special, right? I think we got what 5% discount special going on our Etsy store. It's probably somewhere around the same 5-10% off on some products on our Redbubble store. Late is late, but great is great, right? Real rap. You go to our sites, 5 to 7% profit margin is all we're getting off of our merchandise. There's people getting 50, 60, 70% off of the same product that we're putting our designs on. And we're charging $40, $50. Pair of boots. I think our boots are $50. People are selling those same boots, $130, $140, $150. You like it, I love it. I'd rather have you as a customer. I'd rather have you do some investigating of your own and see how much, and compare and look at, well, what this has this has this. It's just like buying, a name brand soda and then buying a store bought soda and just assuming because it's a store brand that their soda is going to taste less than. Well, it should. And it's just because they put a couple of extra sprinkles or something else because that's their brand. I'm my own brand, right? So because I am my own brand, you're going to get something far greater than what you're going to see in most of these places who are selling this merchandise. None of our stuff is AI generated. It's not AI generated. Every design is thought out, is pieced together. We're putting this here, putting that there, creating this whole, it's a creation. It's a manifestation of thoughts within my head and my wife's head, and we put these things together. Stop playing with me, man. Stop playing. Right? Make sure y'all check us out. AleemForYou.net. Daddy's right here. It's live on TikTok and sometimes on Facebook, but always on TikTok. You're gonna always find Daddy's right here live. And then make sure you check out again my Severe Aleem educational station on YouTube. If you can't remember any of that stuff, just Google Severe Aleem. Severe Aleem. It's right there on the screen in front of you. Severe Aleem. Whether you're on TikTok, whether you're on Facebook, wherever you are, Severe Aleem. Just Google my name. Keep up with my music. Keep up with Daddy's right here live. Keep up, keep up, keep up. Because I'm moving. Right? Y'all have a great day. I'm your host as always, Severe Aleem. Peace.